Hello Wargamers, it's me Callum from TableTopBanter, and I am here at the house of IDIC Beer and IDIC Beer Jr. and we are playing a 4-player free-for-all mission, which is the Rescue from the 4th edition rulebook. So that's 1,000 point armies each. There are 4 of us. It's all like random game turns, etc. The way the objectives work are one of them has a magic number, and that is decided before the game. When you sit on an objective, you flip it over. If it's not got the number, it disappears. If it has the number, it stays where it is, and it becomes a relic, effectively. So I'll go over my deployment first, and we will work our way around the table. So in this corner of the board we have 5-man Tactical Marine Squad in a Rhino, a Vindicator with Siege Shield and Storm Bolter. Tucked away in there is Harwell Harewood, the Mastery Level 2 Librarian with the Armour Indomitus on a bike. Over here we have a 5-man Honor Guard squad in a Land Raider Godhammer pattern, and 2 identical 5-man scout squads. Both are WYSIWYG. All the guys inside have just bolt guns. So we'll work our way around to Harry's army, which are the Crimson Fists.
Crimson Fists, 10-man tactical squad with a plasma gun, 5-man Devastator squad with 2 missile launchers, sergeants just bare bones, 5-man tactical squad with a heavy bolter, 5-man bare bones assault squad with jump packs, and a Rhino with dozer blade, with 10-man tactical marine squad with a grav gun. That makes up a Battle of Demi Company, and on top they've got a Librarian's Conclave, 3 Master Level 2 Librarians.
Wonderful, and of course your captain.
My captain, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And over in this corner we have the Necron forces. So what do we have over here?
We have a Cryptic heading up the army. He's got a Veil of Darkness and 2 squads of Immortals, just 5 in each with Gauze. Then I have the Destroyer Cult formation, so 3 heavy destroyers, 3 groups of 3 destroyers, and a Destroyer Lord with a Void Reaper. He is in reserve and he's joining 5 Death Marks in reserve.
Wonderful, and finally on this corner of the board, the Ultramarines.
We have 6 bikes here, all Lascan Predator, Vindicator, 5 scouts on top of the building, and then an assault squad, Vindicator. Then we have a Rhino with my captain, 9 tactical squad.
Wonderful. So in terms of psychic powers, Harry, what did you get? You rolled on telepathy for all 3.
Telepathy on all 3. I got the important one. So this guy's got Dominate and Shrouding. This guy's got Terrify and Mental Fortitude. Then this guy's has got Invisibility and Dominate.
Of course, and for mine I rolled Warp Speed and Enfeeble, and obviously getting the Primaris Smite. So with all that nice and summed up for you, we are going to go and head off to turn 1. Okay, so we have the end of turn 1 for the Crimson Fists, and they were mean to their successor chapter. They took 2 whole points off of this Rhino, shaking it. But they were also mean to Necrons, so they fired in a couple of bolt guns in here in the shooting phase and managed to plink off 2 of the Necron Immortals. They made their leadership though, so everything was fine there. And of course in the psychic phase, the Conclave put invisibility on this big blob, and they cast Shrouding, so 6 inches within that guy is shrouded. And that was pretty much everything. You did move up and try and grab this objective to see if it was the one, but it was number 2, not number 3. So no luck there, and we're about to find out who is going to have the second player turn. Okay, so second team out of the hat were the Ultramarines, and what they've done here is made a slight advancement up towards my table corner. We've had the Assault Marines just pop over this side, the Vindicator shuffled forwards, and in the shooting phase, as there was no psychic phase, the triple Las Pred took some shots into my Land Raider, got 1 glance, but it was saved from the ruinous building. Also in the shooting phase, the Vindicator took a pot shot over there at some Necron Destroyers and managed to clip 1 as it failed its cover and RP save, but they stayed on the board from no fail leadership check, so we're going to find out who is out of the cup next. Okay, so that was the Necron's turn 1, and there was a lot of shuffling in terms of movement, jetpack moves, etc, etc. The long and short of it is this chap here failed a dangerous terrain test, rolling 3 1s in a row, so he's down a wound. And like I said, mainly a lot of shuffling, kind of moving forwards as well, getting near some objectives, I think mainly just to get in range of gun stuff. So in the shooting phase, what happened was a heavy destroyer over there managed to glance the Vindicator. The regular destroyers took 1 wound off, I think, 1 whole point.
1 more whole point.
That's right, yeah, and the Immortals couldn't quite manage to finish it off. And over on this side of the table, the Crimson Fist Devastator squad has been slightly hindered, losing 3 of its models to a combined fire of Necron Destroyers and Immortals. So with all that being as it was, we are about to roll into the Kikarian Crimson's turn 1, and yeah, let's see how I get on. Okay, so I had a small disaster. The greatest laid plans just didn't seem to come off. So what did I do? Moved up my Rhino, popped a couple of shots into the Assault Marines. They were fine. Both of the Landspeeder Storms moved up. The Heavy Bolters managed to take out 1 scout, but no big deal there really. The Vindicator also targeted the Assault Marines, scattered back onto the other Vindicator. Got a pen, but the cover save was made. Over here, not much that I really enjoyed. So the Land Raider came round, popped off a las cannon at the Pred. Didn't do anything to it. Hargoy Harewood tried to cast Enfeeble on the bikes. Failed, or it was denied. Then I thought, hey, I'll get the Onagard out and they'll mince through them. I lost a guy in Overwatch, and then I failed my charge by an inch. So, not an ideal turn for myself. I've just really got to hope that I get drawn out before the Ultramarines, or I'm going to be pretty upset. So, we're going to go on to turn 2. Okay, so in the turn 2, we had the Ultramarines drawn first. That was my fault. I put my hand in the cup. And what happened here was, first of all, the Assault Marine here just popped onto the relic and, well, didn't know it was a relic, onto one of the scanner objectives, and it turned out to be the relic, so that is going to be a hotly contested thing for the rest of the game. What else happened? Well, there was a lot of shooting. Most of it was directed at what was my Honor Guard over here. Took 2 out with shooting, multiple things went into them. The Vindicator tried, scattered onto the Land Raider and did nothing. The Predator took out 1 of them, the bikes took out 1, and then they got charged by the bikes, killed a Hammer of Wrath with 1 of them, and the other guy died in close combat. He did manage to take the Sergeant with him, but not quite a points trade. So slightly disappointed with how they performed, but that's fine. And over here we had the Vindicator just trundle on towards the Necrons, doing the Vindicator thing. Only killing 1 Immortal, because Necrons went to ground, 3 up save, 5 up reanimate meant that just 1 guy died. So that was it for that turn, and we're going to go and see who has the next turn 2.2. Okay, so vengeance has been served. The Imperial Fists got their revenge on being embarrassed with the loss of the Honor Guard, and what they did, first of all, a lot of moving up, much like before, kind of aggressive play, but still not taking any objective-styled stance. So a lot of firepower went into the Assault Marines, a lot of firepower went into the bikes, managed to take 2 of the bikes out and they ran, managed to take 4 of the Assault Marines out, and that guy managed to hold on just fine. Whatever else there was went into the Vindicator, and that lost its Demolisher Siege Cannon, and it's down to 2 hull points, so it's basically a non-unit holding Rhino for now, with a higher armour. But yeah, a fairly successful phase for the Imperial Fists as we roll into the turn 2.3 for whichever comes out the cup next. Okay, so the end of turn 2.3 for the Crimson Fists. Moved towards the centre of the board here, moved to recover, I think it was 5 inches and then round 3. This Rhino is making his way over towards the objective. Over in this building, the Psychic Phase, I'll start with the Psychic Phase, that was colossal. So they got every single power off they wanted, they've shrouded themselves, they've invisibled this unit here. Then terrified this unit, did 3 lots of Psychic Shriek, still only managed to kill 1 guy, and they... was that it? I think that was it. Oh, they also dominated them as well, so they have to make a leadership test before they want to do anything, and they can't fire Overwatch. So after that massive Psychic Phase, these guys ran. The devs shot into the 2nd squad of Destroyers, and they managed to take out 1 wound off the guy who failed Dangerous Terrain, and that was about it really. So it was all in the Psychic Phase for Crimson Fists turn 2, as we go on to Necrons turn 2.4. Okay, so at the end of turn 2 we had the Necrons. What happened with the Necrons is, obviously these guys had their dominate thing on them, so they couldn't move, but obviously they got their assault moves. Everything was making a beeline for the objective. A couple of things ran. The heavy destroyers at the back over there tried to pop the land... No, they didn't. They tried to pop the Vindicator, but they failed. They didn't actually fail to hit, even with preferred enemy. The 2 destroyers had a go at it, but couldn't quite manage either, so they charged, managed to get in, and did the last hull point. Over here, the previously gone to ground Immortals and Cryptek managed to get a couple of pot shots in on the Assault Marines and killed the guy out front, even though they were invisible. So, a fairly productive turn in terms of movement, and obviously it's now randomly selected for turn 3.1. Okay, so we decided to do the whole of turn 3 in 1. So over here, first of all, we had the Ultramarines going, and the Predator smashed my Vindicator into small pieces. Everything else kind of moved around. This Vindicator came on top of the Relic. The Captain's Rhino came around and took a couple of pot shots, but no damage was done. It then went into the Necrons, and the Necrons kind of advanced up on this flank. Tried to deep strike the Cryptek using the Veil of Darkness. Mishap on top of these scouts. Rolled a 1, got removed from play. Also over here, the once deep struck unit, they popped down, so the death marks here, took some shots into the Librarian and I think took a wound off, and the Lord charged the Land Raider and popped that with an explodes result. We then went into my turn. So in my turn, I basically moved up these scouts, drove fast, well I can't remember what it's called, cruising speed I think it is, with these guys, just to sort of tank shock the destroyers and get in the way of the objective, I suppose. Obviously still got some guys in there, but I doubt it will be a tank much longer. And then also in my turn, the most important part, the Librarian charged the Destroyer Lord, and although he didn't manage to kill him in combat as such, he did manage to sweeping advance him. Finally we had the Crimson Fists. They just continued their advance to the middle of the board. These guys kind of booking it for the objective, getting a lot of psychic powers off, all of them except Terrify I believe, and the Psychic Shrieks. So what we had instead was a fearless unit, a fearless invisible unit charging into these destroyers. They did no wounds, the destroyers took 1 wound from shooting, and that was about it. Everything kind of ran. So that's the end of turn 3 as we go into turn 4 and find out who gets the first part of that turn. Okay, so at the end of turn 4 in all, we have had a lot of movement towards this central objective, which is now up here, you might notice. So first off, we had the Ultramarines. They disembarked, rapid fired into the destroyers that were over there, and nicely cleared them out for the sake of the Emperor. We had a couple of other movements. The bikes got round the back and did some shooting as well. Then I went on to Necrons, and the Necrons sort of continued their advance. These heavy destroyers popped in a shot and killed a Librarian, and the Immortals, I can't remember who they shot at now actually. I think they shot at an Assault Marine that was there, and he survived that, but then died to some heavy destroyers, some regular destroyers, sorry. So we rolled into Crimson Fists, a lot of movement, a lot of psychic, so they're now invisible, shrouded, dominated, and dominated, so they all now need to do leadership tests for stuff. Then this unit then rapid fired and took a wound off of the destroyers. Then we rolled into my turn for the Kakarian Crimsons. So first thing was to tank shot on top of a Vindicator to push the objective up another level and get off the Necrons, and then rapid firing these guys in, managing to do 2 wounds, which was enough to kill 1 outright. So pretty pleased with that. Of course on the Necrons turn, so I should mention over here, these death marks did squish my Librarian. So we're going to roll into turn 5, where again it is a random person going first. Okay, so we have the end of turn 5 overall. Quite a few messy things happened. So we had a few tanks stacked up here. The heavy destroyers managed to pop the Crimson Fist Rhino completely off the board, and everyone's making a beeline for the objectives. So key moments really were the captain clearing through this squad here. Well, not clearing through, they ran away. They're still really brave, honest. And some squads exchanging fire over here. Ultimately, not a lot happened. A destroyer over here popped up on top to sit near the objective, but I charged in with both the tactical squad and the scout squad, managed to get rid of that last wound, and they're just sat up there chilling, waiting to claim an objective, and everything else is sort of going on over here. So that's really the end of turn 5, sorry, and we're going to go into turn 6, which is of course the last turn of the game. So yeah, anything can happen.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so end of the game, end of turn 6. It got very sweaty in the last turn, it has to be said. Many things were tried, none of which succeed. Ultimately it was a 50-50 between me winning and losing, and I rolled a 2, so the scout died. This is my only remaining model, so he's going to get a promotion. Everything else is still fairly alive. We've got 30 tacticals left. There's a couple of Necrons on the board, some more tacticals and a pred. No one ended up holding the relic at the end of the game because you have to be claimed in the movement phase. It was a very, very tight affair, and a good one at that. So yeah, thank you ever so much for having us down, of course, Nick.
You're welcome.
Wonderful game, lovely terrain, lovely armies, and that's what we like. So of course I'll leave a link in the description below to Eddie Beer's channel. Go and check it out. Really nice guy, very friendly and very welcoming. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you in the next one.